The moment you leave the house, your dog notices more than most people realize. Not just the sound of the door closing, not just your footsteps fading away, but the emotional silence that suddenly fills the home. For many dogs, your absence changes the atmosphere completely. The routine feels incomplete. The energy feels different. And even if they do not understand where you go, they still feel the emotional weight of separation in quiet and instinctive ways. Some dogs sit near the door after their owner leaves. Others walk through empty rooms searching for familiar scents. Some stare out the window waiting for a moment they cannot predict, but somehow still believe will happen. And what makes this fascinating is that dogs do not experience separation the same way humans do. They are not thinking, "My owner will be back in 3 hours." They simply feel that someone emotionally important is suddenly gone. That is why some dogs become quieter after you leave. Others sleep near the entrance, carry your shoes, or remain emotionally alert to every sound outside the house. These behaviors are not random habits. They are emotional responses connected to attachment, trust, memory, and emotional safety. What most owners never realize is that your dog's behavior after you leave quietly reveals how emotionally connected they truly are to you. The emotional shift often begins before you even leave the house. Dogs quickly learn the small patterns connected to separation. Picking up your keys, putting on shoes, grabbing your bag, walking toward the door with a different energy in your body. Dogs are experts at emotional routines. Your dog may not understand work or schedules, but they absolutely understand that certain actions lead to temporary disappearance. And the moment the door closes, many dogs become completely still for a few seconds. They listen. They process the silence. They wait for your footsteps to return. Some immediately walk toward the window. Others move to the place where your scent feels strongest. Some quietly lie beside the entrance as if emotionally guarding the last place they saw you. This is not just habit, it is emotional orientation. Your dog is trying to reconnect with your presence through scent, sound, memory, and routine. Studies on canine attachment show that dogs form emotional bonds with humans very similar to attachment behaviors seen in young children. Your absence does not feel emotionally neutral to them. It creates a temporary emotional imbalance they instinctively try to process. The hardest part for many dogs is not the moment you leave. It is the uncertainty that comes after. Dogs do not understand time the way humans do. Your dog is not thinking, "My owner returns at 6 p.m." Instead, they experience absence emotionally, moment by moment. To your dog, your disappearance can feel confusing in a deeply instinctive way. One second, the person they trust most is present. The next, the house becomes emotionally quiet. The sounds change. The atmosphere changes. That is why many dogs create emotional routines while waiting. Some repeatedly walk through the same rooms. Some return to your bed. Some stay near objects carrying your scent. Others become unusually alert to tiny sounds most humans would ignore. Your dog is not simply passing time. They are emotionally monitoring your absence. Researchers have discovered that dogs strongly associate humans with emotional safety. Your scent, voice, movement, and daily presence become part of your dog's emotional stability over time. So, when you leave, many dogs quietly begin searching for emotional reassurance. And perhaps the most emotional part is this. Many dogs continue waiting long after the first moment of separation has passed. Not because they understand time, but because emotionally, they never fully disconnect from the hope that you will return. Once the house becomes quiet, dogs begin expressing emotions in ways most people never notice. Some stop moving for several minutes after separation. Others slowly walk through the house without direction, almost as if they are searching for something they cannot fully explain. But one behavior appears again and again in emotionally attached dogs. They move toward your scent. Your bed, your clothes, your shoes, the couch where you usually sit. To humans, these objects may seem ordinary, but to your dog, your scent carries familiarity, comfort, and emotional safety. This is why some dogs sleep on their owner's clothes while alone. It is emotional regulation. And then there are dogs who wait near windows, not because they understand schedules, but because they associate sounds, lights, and movements with the possibility of your return. A car door, footsteps outside, the sound of keys. Dogs become emotionally alert to tiny patterns connected to hope, and many dogs try to remain calm while waiting. Some do not bark, some do not cry. Some simply become quieter, and owners often misunderstand this silence. A silent dog is not always a relaxed dog. Sometimes silence is simply how emotionally attached dogs cope with uncertainty. Researchers studying canine behavior have noticed that emotionally bonded dogs often display subtle, self-soothing behaviors while alone. Slow pacing, resting in familiar places, checking rooms repeatedly, lying near entryways, quiet observation. These are emotional responses connected to attachment and expectation. There is also something many dogs do while alone that owners almost never notice. They continue emotionally tracking you even after you are gone. That is why some dogs suddenly calm down moments before their owner returns. Some wake up seconds before hearing the front door. Others stop pacing right before the familiar sound of a car outside. Dogs memorize far more than people realize. The sound of your footsteps, the vibration of your car, the emotional rhythm of your routines. Emotionally attached dogs do not simply remember their owners. They emotionally orient themselves around them. Your presence becomes part of how they feel safe, calm, and emotionally balanced inside their environment. And that is why separation affects some dogs so deeply. Not because they are weak, but because attachment is one of the strongest emotional instincts dogs possess. Some dogs express this attachment through anxiety and barking. Others express it through silence, waiting, and quiet observation. But both behaviors come from the same emotional source: connection. And perhaps that is the part most owners never fully understand. Your dog is not just happy that you came home. Your dog feels emotionally relieved that the person who makes the world feel familiar has returned. One of the clearest signs of emotional trust in dogs appears after you come back home. And surprisingly, it is not always excitement. Some of the deepest emotional bonds appear in much quieter ways. A dog that slowly walks toward you and leans against your legs. A dog that calmly follows you from room to room. A dog that finally relaxes after hearing your voice again. These are emotional release behaviors. Your return tells your dog something important. The safe person is back. Trust for dogs is not built through words. It is built through emotional consistency. Over time, your presence becomes emotionally connected to comfort, stability, and security. And perhaps the most emotional sign of trust is this: a deeply bonded dog eventually learns how to wait with hope instead of fear. That does not mean they stop missing you. It means they have emotionally learned something powerful over time. The person they love always comes back. Maybe your dog does not understand jobs, schedules, or where you go every day, but they understand presence. They understand comfort. They understand emotional safety. And they understand what it feels like when someone important suddenly disappears from their world. That is why dogs wait near doors, why they listen so carefully to familiar sounds, why they become calm the moment they hear you coming home. Because somewhere inside your dog's emotional world, your return matters more than words could ever explain. Dogs do not care about status or success. What they care about is much simpler. Your presence, your voice, your routine, your energy. To your dog, those things become emotional anchors that make the world feel safe. So, the next time your dog quietly watches you leave the house, remember this. Behind those eyes is not just a pet waiting for someone to come home. There is a living being emotionally attached to your presence in ways most humans never stop long enough to notice. And maybe your dog was never simply waiting for you to return. Maybe they were holding on to the feeling of home itself,